Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? Frank here, and you know, there's nothing I enjoy more than a little drama. And right now, we got some spicy drama going on in the PSVR2 community. I'm sure you have an idea of what it is because you read the title of the video and clicked it. Yes, we're talking Legendary Tales. Now, to those of you that are like me, until the recent state of play from PlayStation, you had no idea what Legendary Tales was or that it was coming to PlayStation VR2, especially that it was right around the corner. Now, I am sure a lot of you are like, Frank, I would know, but I get it. You probably knew for a while. I had been off my radar 100%, and so I was completely surprised. I saw it, and honestly, I had a bit of a feel of what the initial public reaction would be, because I mean, I've come to accept it with what VR games look like, especially to just a mainstream audience, and to even people that are interested in VR that haven't understood, like, it's about the feel. There was bad reaction. When the video first came out, when it dropped with State of Play, it was just the usual PS2 graphics, blah, blah, blah. I said bad reaction, but honestly, to anybody that's used to VR at this point, it was the standard fare. The devs got upset to a degree because they've been putting their heart and soul and blood, sweat, tears, and wallets into this game for, I think it said 4 years. They got it out on PC too. PSVR2 was a big deal for them because, I mean, PSVR2 is a big platform. Now, this is a Korean AA, they call themselves developer, and it's just a very small team working on everything. So, trailer came out, State of Play, everyone was like, what the heck is this? Oh man, it's coming around the corner, what's going on? And then some people were excited. Some people were like, it's going to be great. Combat simulator, seeing great things, this, that, good stuff. You know what I mean? We don't have Skyrim. At the end of the day, everybody just wants Skyrim on PSVR 2. Some people I speak to recently still go back and play their PSVR 1 just to play Skyrim. So I completely understand. And this is probably, from the outlook of it, the closest thing that looked to something like Skyrim on PSVR 2 at the moment. So I feel ya. I get it, and to those of you that were like, I need that, I get why you needed it. To those of you that got upset, I get what you got upset. Then price drop. Now this was priced as, I believe, $55 US. I mess up prices sometimes, and so basically a full price game. Now a lot of people were like, full price game for that, which is another reaction. But I mean, justified so. People are like, I'm gonna spend this much money. To me, it's hard to explain. Like I say, I treat VR like an amusement park, right? So instead of just my normal little experience, if I'm going to be fully into it and fully immersed in the situation, it almost feels like a little ride. So for the price of entry to this ride that I could theoretically use forever, $50 ain't that steep. But if it's a crummy ride that I only want to ride for like 2 seconds and get off, then I am gonna feel a little unhappy with my purchase. It does go to a good team. It goes to people that are creating art, and at the end of the day, I love people that are creating art, that are trying to share their dreams with the world. But I mean, times is tough. I can't be spending my money on everything, which, what are you gonna do? So, understand, justifiable purchase, bam, finally game drops. Now this is where the drama heats up once again. So it released, and there's basically, once again, this split reaction. There's people that are getting in the game, they're loving it, they're seeing the potential, they're seeing what the devs have to offer, they're having a good time, they're playing around with what it is, they're not speeding through it, but they're eating it in little bite-sized chunks. There's people that are really enjoying it. My buddy Pumpkin smashed his TV playing it. There's a great video of that up on his channel, Petrifying Pumpkins, check him out. But regardless, there's a lot of people that are really loving it. Then there's these people that are also, I guess 3 areas. There's these people that are also loving it. But now that they've spent a decent chunk of change and time into it, they don't really see a continuation. So there's a big issue with the game where it's a little bland when it comes to the environments. There's not a lot of differentiation. There's no story, which was planned by the developers. I mean, I say planned, but really they just couldn't afford to work on a narrative and fit that into the game and get VO in there and all that, because that costs a lot of time and money and stuff that they just didn't have. So it ended up being more of just a kind of, I guess, combat simulator with the potential for story later on. But that's a like and a dislike to a lot of people, because I don't know, they're expecting something, but then their expectations aren't met, and then what they have kind of frustrates them. So yes, a little bit of time into it, people aren't enjoying the story as much. There's some clunkiness here and there. They don't really have a lot of variety type in the enemies, because once again, small team, they have one person working on all of this, so it's very difficult to get them all. Also, movement speed, I've heard, is very slow, and after hours and hours and hours of it. It's like, I mean, come on. And developers have responded, and they say that that's really more due to motion sickness in VR. Now, a lot of us that have spent a lot of time in VR know that you can do a lot more, but they are trying to reach the broader everybody, so no one will get sick in VR. But hey, which I support that 100%, but I still don't think you should crutch everybody. Options is the key. Yes, this is a multiplayer game. Yes, it's co-op, but at the end of the day, it's not like PvP multiplayer. So where does it hurt giving players options if they want to speed up a bit more? What are you gonna do? So regardless, there's people, and then there's the people that are just loving the game, that are just positive, that understand that the developers are trying their best, and that if we give them the support and help them earn money off of this, then they're able to put that money back into the game. But if the game doesn't sell, then I've heard on their Steam page, this is it, or they responded in a post, this is it. So if this game does not do for them, we're not gonna see it get better. So if this is the idea, I guess, with all this drama is, it's a big thing that I see a lot in games, and I think this was just a good time to talk about it, because a lot of people will boycott or get upset or this and that or here and there, which is understandable. I get it. You're voting with your wallet, you're voting with your all this, but at the end of the day, the people you're really hurting are not the people that you're trying to hurt, because the people at the top most likely are not going to lose their jobs, and they're making all the decisions across the board. And if it's a smaller team, you're just hurting this smaller team. They're gonna have to probably shut down and just dip. So the idea that I like to think about when I'm looking at a game, or when I'm supporting something, or when I'm interested in, that applies to this and to many other scenarios, there are those three pots, is, do you enjoy the general gameplay of it? Do you have a good time? Do you think that they've done a fairly good job? Yes. Do you believe that there could be changes? Because we don't live in a world where you had to make a game and then put it in a disc and then bring that disc somewhere and then that was it. There was no updates. We're past that world. So games can be updated. If the developer shows the support and you see it there, you like what it is, the idea is, if you do support the game, if you continue to give them money, then hopefully they will continue to support it. But if you boycott the game, you say don't buy the game, or wait and wait, if you wait too long, they can't afford to update the game. They can't afford to make the game better. You lose this window that was there, because there's always going to be a window. Sometimes it's bigger, sometimes it's smaller, but if you're not in that window, which is fine, you don't have to be in that window. You don't have to continue to like put your brain power towards them, to think about this game, to think about you supporting this game. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's not that deep, but at the end of the day, it could be that deep for you. That's really where it is. There's that window there when the game kind of comes out. If they don't see kind of a really good support in that initial window, and then support continuing either on like a plane that's flat, or going up would be great, but you know what I mean? If they don't see that, it's very, very difficult for them to continue working on the product and to continue supporting it and to continue updating it. It's a tricky road. So really, the drama here is that this game is a make or break for this studio. If this game doesn't do well, this studio's gone. That's what they said. This is the end of their stuff. So I guess we have some level of help that we can do to this game. If this is something that you're interested in, it's like VR combat, you can parry, you can do this and that, there's some magic, there's some crafting, there's some goblins, apparently lots of goblins that you can just like spend hours just like smashing. And I mean, someone had so fun, they broke their TV. It's one of those games, you gotta be careful about it. You're gonna feel immersed. I really don't think that visuals are the biggest deal, but I do think variety type is nice. They do have a boss. They said a lot of work went into making just that boss, like 6 months. So whatever their pipeline is for making games, it takes them a minute to make stuff. I mean, they're being, I guess, probably trying to be perfectionist with what they can, and I mean, that's just hard, slippery slope. But yeah, so I don't really think the environments are all that important. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's nice to look around. Yeah, it's nicer to have things, but if it feels really good, I mean, I've heard it feels really good. So I think that that's one of the better things. Everything else can be fixed. UI can be updated. The inventory systems can be updated. Even the combat can be kind of cleaned up. I've heard that people don't really like the weapons outside of like the fancy weapons, because they're just like meh everywhere, and like the crafting's kind of meh. I was reading reviews all over the place, and just, I don't know. That's kind of how I feel. There's a little bit of drama surrounding that one. It's always nice to hear a little drama with the game, and because at the end of the day, at least they're getting some press about it, and hopefully maybe people are checking it out. But yeah, so that's how it goes. I wonder what's going to happen with the studio. I have absolutely no idea. My hopes are that they'll be able to continue working on the game and maybe working on other projects, but maybe not. And so it's weird. It's weird to think that, like, when you can see it you know what I mean, before you, and they're out on the table and all this and that. I will say that they've been very good about responding to people and trying to do things. I haven't seen any updates come out. I'm sure we'll see some. I hope so. I think that's what really proves the story. If the dev can really respond and get the updates, especially quickly, little things here and there, that it shows good faith. But yeah, time will tell, and that's the drama. How do you feel? What is your reaction if you played the game? Are you thinking about playing the game? Are you gonna wait? And waiting might mean it's just gonna be like that forever. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about all this just in general? Not even to this game, to any game, when you have this sort of feeling that this is about it, because we all have this feeling. There's those paths always with pretty much every game that's divisive. Yes, there's some games that are just all around great. You know what I mean? Like a Mario game. Someone saying like that Mario game is bad is like saying like, you know what I mean? Like a general pepperoni pizza from a place is bad. Like, yeah, it's pizza. You know what I mean? Like it's always pretty good. I can't remember, I've had a handful of bad pizzas in my life and millions of unmemorable pizzas, but you know what I mean? Pizza's a pizza, so yeah, that's about it. That's the video for today. I'm not so hyped to anybody making it this far because hopefully, I assume that the people that really care make it these far, that other people will probably watch half. I found half, I think like, I get a huge drop off at like 50, like 30, 40, 50 seconds, you know what I mean? It drops to about half the people, and then by the end it steadily declines. So there's probably just a handful of people here. Welcome. To those of you that make it this far, you're dope, you know what I mean? You probably care. I really appreciate that you care. Like, please reach out. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Have a great day. And friggin' subscribe. I mean, come on. Nah. Smushes, everybody.